With more and more information coming out about Project Cesear, likely EU5, today I want to take a quick aside to talk about maps, which have been released in the Tinto Map series and also the Tinto Talks. These two being the dev diaries for Project Cesear/EU5. Obviously, maps have an important history with Paradox Interactive games. They form the backbone of your interaction with all their games, whether it be EUV4, EU4, CK3, etc. And that seems no different with EU5/Project Cesear. In terms of the EU series, we've definitely seen a dramatic progression in the complexity of the maps, whether that be the complex in various different map modes or the massively increased depth of the maps. For example, with Project Cesear alone, there are 30,000 so-called locations. Locations in this game appear to be the smallest way to break up the map, with each of them potentially having their own country. These locations could also have different unique things, such as different cultures, trade goods, and more. Locations themselves feel like an important and meaningful change from EU4. They remind me more of the provinces in Imperator Rome or baronies in CK3. That being said, at least in the CK3 context, baronies themselves weren't able to get independent, but you were able to interact with them. Locations form a part of a province. In EU4 at least, provinces were the smallest dividable unit. But in Project Cesear/EU5, it feels like they more form duchies in CK3. That is, you combine multiple locations to acquire a province. We don't really know what the benefits of provinces are yet, or maybe I missed that, but it's still cool to see changes from EU4 in cool and unique ways. While I do like more detailed maps, at least looking at the map of the HRE they've released so far, it does concern me slightly. I feel this way, not just because of concerns of how complex the map is, but also concerns of how well the game will run. Project Cesear/EU5 will get a new engine, or an updated engine, which will help it run significantly more smoothly. But going from maybe a couple hundred countries to 1,000 or something countries is a little insane. I think a testament to this is you can see in the maps that Andorra itself is even playable. Obviously Andorra is a real country nowadays, but it's such a tiny area that to make it playable shows how complex the map is, but also maybe how difficult the game will be to run. That being said, EU4 is a jumbled mix of code that can also be very difficult to run. So maybe this will actually be an improvement from EU4, which is very old and can be difficult to run. Another concern of mine I have with large maps is sometimes they feel less fun to play. Maybe that's just my experience talking. But playing something like Voltaire's Nightmare or Imperator Rome, it felt too complex and too in-depth. It's like when you zoom in, there's so much to do, so many nations to conquer, and while it may be fun, if you're in the center of a million nations, it can be really annoying to conquer all these areas. I don't know why, but in my experience, OPM runs at the lowest form in EU4 actually feel fun. Even if you're playing Ulm or another small nation in the HRE, it was never too complex. But looking at this map currently of Project Cesear, I'm just concerned that that won't be fun. It will be extremely tedious and annoying. Obviously, I haven't seen gameplay of Project Cesear, and I have not played the game myself, so I don't really know if this is true, but this is just my intuition speaking. Not to mention all the crazy border gore that will happen with so many countries, so many provinces, and more. Especially if you look at the start, you can see it's already insane. Unrelated to the concerning gameplay, I am excited for the significantly increased depth. One of my favorite things about any Paradox game is analyzing and learning about the map. It's always cool to learn about historic events through the game, but with unclear sources, certain things may not be 100% accurate, but it's still interesting to get a better background, especially from a game company that does a significant amount of research to make their game. It is also cool to see new and cool maps that I'll learn more about, such as climate maps, topography maps, population maps, vegetation maps, and more. I also assume that there will be a lot of new and cool maps on top of this that I haven't learned about or haven't seen. Hopefully they do something like they did in CK2, where if you find something, especially at the start of the game, and you don't know about it, maybe you can click away to Wikipedia or some other source to learn about this historical part of the game. But that's just me getting my hopes up. So based on what I've seen, what I've learned, I'm certainly excited to explore more of the EU5/Project Cesear map. But I do have some real concerns related to the complexity of the map, the difficulty of running it in the game, and whether or not it will actually be fun to play with such a detailed map. That being said, Paradox knows what they're doing. And even if the map is overly detailed, I'm still excited to see the new maps, the new map modes, and more. I'm looking forward to more information on everything related to Project Cesear, and I hope you follow along with me. Sincerely, Wonder Productions.